Good morning, everybody. How are you all? I hope you are all fine. Welcome back to my science world. Today, we are going to learn lesson 2, reproduction in plants. In this lesson, topics to be covered: parts of a flower, pollination and fruits formation, germination, and seed dispersal. But today we are going to learn parts of a flower. We know that what is reproduction? The ability of living things to produce more of their own kind is called reproduction. Plants have developed and enveloped the spread their seeds and reproduce. Coconut tree reproduce a small young one, and also human beings reproduce a small young one. This is called a reproduction. Parts of a flower. Flowers are reproductive parts of the plant. A flower is a reproductive structure found in plants. Some plants reproduce using their parts like their roots, stems, and leaves. However, there are some plants which reproduce by accessory part, the flower. Common flower parts. Petals. The prominent parts of the open flower are called petals. Petals and a small leaf-like structure are called sepal. What is sepals? Sepals are modified leaves which enclose the protect the other parts of a flower when it's still a bud. When the flower blooms, the sepals support the bottom of the flower. Bottom of the flower. A group of sepal is called sepals. And then petals. What is petals? Petals form the most obvious part of a flower. Most petals are brightly colored to attract insects for pollination. A group of petals is called petals. Parts of a flower. Parts of a flower is classified into two categories, male and female. Male part of a flower is called stamen and female part of a flower is called pistil. This is a stamen and then this is a pistil. Let's see what is male reproductive part of a flower and what is female reproductive part of a flower. Male reproductive parts of a flower. Stamen is the male reproductive part of a flower. It consists of filament and the anther. This is the parts of a stamen. This is the anther, filament, and anther contain pollen grains. Next, what is anther? What is anther? The anther consists of two lobes that contain pollen shock. Pollen shock have pollen grains that are released by anther when they mature. This is pollen grains and filament. Filament is a tube-like structure. Female reproductive part of a flower. The pistil is the female part of a flower. It consists of a stigma, style, and ovary. Style. What is style? The style is a stalk that connect the stigma to ovary. It is tall enough to trap pollen grains. Next, stigma. What is stigma? The stigma is a salon structure that the end of the tail. It receives the pollen grains. The matured stigma secrete a fluid that stimulate the pollen grains to germinate. Next, ovary. Ovary. What is ovary? Ovary is the enlarged basal portion of the pistil, a female organ of a flower. The ovary contain ovule, which develop into seeds open fertilization. The ovary itself will mature. Next, ovule. Ovule is the organ that forms the seed of flowering plant. It burns in the ovary of the flower. Let's see parts of the flower and its function. Septacles support the base of a flower. Sepals protect the flower when not yet blooming, also support the base of a flower. Petals, it is bright colors attract pollinators. Filament hold the anther in a high position for release of pollen. Anther, it holds the pollen sacs. Pollen sac connect the releases the pollen sac. Style connect the stigma to the ovary, also trap the pollen grains. Stigma structure which receive the pollen grains stimulate the pollen grains to germinate and reach the ovary. Ovary hold the ovary cells which are to be fertilized by the sperm from the pollen grains. This is a part of a flower and its function. That's all. That's it for today class. Okay, see you next class. Bye.